We're live. We're live right now.
Okay. Good afternoon, people. Good morning, wherever you're at in the world. I'm Darren Copeland, sitting next to my brother, Eddie Leopizzo, and we have our resident psychologist today, James Julian.
Good to be here.
Thank you, Jim. Actually, honestly, thank you for doing this for us.
My pleasure.
Uh,
All my pleasure.
We're in the new studio. This
yeah,
is our temporary studio. We're going to be in a permanent one in about a month or so. We're starting to build it now.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can have an
So-
audience in that studio, right?
Yeah, we'll definitely have an audience in that studio,
Yeah.
and they'll all be sitting up there.
Okay, great.
um,
Yeah, that's important.
yeah. So just bear with us, people. Again, this is a learning process for definitely for myself and Eddie.
And one of these days, we're going to have a how we started from God knows nothing to
Yep.
where we ended up big time.
Right.
All right, Jim, take it away.
Jim,
Well, our
Well,
topic today
today's
was
subject is narcissism.
narcissism. Right, okay. Darren Copeland, Ed Leo Piso, believe it or not, in the National Library of Medicine has declared, are you ready, for the United States, a narcissism epidemic.
What?
A narcissism epidemic. Between 1 and 15% of the population is now considered to be narcissistic.
I got a question really
Oh,
quick.
good.
Now, that one in, would you say 15?
1 to 15%.
1 to 15%. Is that also including all of California? Is that the 1 to 15%?
That might
Because
boost it up like
I'm pretty sure that's probably where they all
yeah, I
start.
think that might
Wow.
boost it up like by 70%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just checking.
Yeah, but it's no joke. I mean, all of a sudden, this has appeared. People just feeling entitled and feeling as though they're above everyone else, and they should be given special treatment and so on. So what is a narcissist? Well, a couple of traits of a narcissist: lack of empathy.
Entitlement.
I mean, entitlement, big time, absolutely. Of a need for admiration, even though the admiration is unwarranted.
Attention, yeah.
Need for attention. Um, there's just so much to talk about with this. They're very demanding people. They're very manipulative, and guess what? They're probably the best liars on earth.
Liars,
You-
cheaters.
Right. And they're such good liars
Thieves.
because, yeah, they believe their own lies. So they're
Absolutely.
very, very good at that and very good at manipulation and also very good at tearing somebody down.
Mm.
Very good at that.
And the person who's being torn down doesn't realize it until it's too late, I believe, no?
Absolutely.
Well, I think they start off slow,
They
and
start
they
off-
get you hooked. And then once you're hooked,
You're
they
done.
tear you apart.
Exactly. It would be something like this. Hey, love your hair. You're really looking good. That haircut looks great on you. But what are you going to do about that bald spot in the back? In other words, they give you these backhanded compliments, and after it's called death by 1,000 cuts. After a while, it gets into your psyche, it gets into your mind, right? Hey, you look great since you lost the weight, but what are you going to do about the stretch marks? So it's like,
That's deep.
right, they're complimenting you, but at the same time, they're tearing you down just a little at a time. So, getting back to what you guys said, you sound pretty surprised. It's 1 to 15% of people are considered to be narcissists in the country today. That's just a combination of, for example, a DSM-5, National Library of Medicine, and some other statistics I looked at. But however, I mean, how many people are going to come up to you and say, "Oh, by the way, I just met you. I want to tell you, I'm a narcissist."
Well, most people, they don't think they're a narcissist. And if you confront a narcissist and call them a narcissist, you start World War III.
Bad news. They are very, very sensitive to any type of criticism or, like you said, questioning them, criticizing them. Very, very sensitive to that. Very sensitive. Um, it's not a person that you want to hang around with or have a relationship with. They're also very selfish. Um, just not a. When you first meet a real narcissist, they're very personable. They're very likable.
Yeah.
But when you spend time with them, you get to realize that this person isn't what he or she is showing on the exterior.
Right.
And most narcissists, by the way, are men.
Well,
Oh,
and when you first meet a narcissist, like they want to get into depth with you. They want to know everything about you so they could use it against you. So
Absolutely.
they get your deepest, darkest secrets, and then
yes.
after that, they will throw it in your face as much as
Absolutely.
possible.
Right.
It's something that's, you think that you got somebody that's a really good person. They're gonna take care of
True.
you. You're gonna take care of them. You guys are, relationship wise, it's great. Everything's fine. And then after that, every little thing that goes wrong, now that's your fault. I'm this way because of you. I did this
Exactly.
because of you. All of these things, they come into play. Like, you don't realize what's going on
They
until
project it.
you're
Yeah.
buried already and they're
Right,
stomping on your
They
head.
project their insecurities onto you.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
So you're exactly right. I don't know how you could have a relationship with a narcissist for very long.
Well, the thing I think you when you carry that relationship on, that's not the worst part is being in the relationship. It's when you get out of that relationship, how bad, how crazy that person will go, and to the extent they will go to ruin everything that you have. Honestly.
It's hard to get out of a relationship with them. And,
Yes.
very hard. By the way, they're also very vain, so you can't criticize their hair or anything
Oh,
like that.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Very vain. But yeah, they do something called, I mean, you guys have probably heard of it, gaslighting.
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%.
Right? Some of the examples that we just gave, they'll, like Eddie said, they'll find out the information about you, then use it against you. Say, for example, you're taking some kind of medications, right? And, oh, you should have your medications adjusted. It's something like that. So they'll use what they find out, like you said, they'll use that against you. It's gaslighting. They'll assert the opposite of the truth. They have no problems denying the truth
With the straightest face.
with a
But
straight
straight,
face.
yeah.
That never happened. When the partner
Absolutely.
says to them, "You did this to me last week," that never happened.
Well, they probably believe in their head they didn't do it.
Well, that's exactly
That's
right.
not me. That's not who I am.
That's why they're so good.
Everybody loves me. I'm the best. You should love me the same way. That kind of thing happens.
That's why they're so good. And they had this excessive need for admiration, even though the admiration is unwarranted. They really are not accomplishing much, but
Right.
they have this need and this belief that they're in this upper social elite class, and those are the only people that can understand them. You can't understand me. But they may say to you, "Oh, are you going on that hobby you call a job today?" Another example of sort of
Wow.
gaslighting. You
Yeah,
know,
like you're not
it's
as.
death by a thousand cuts. They tear you down a little
Yeah.
bit at a time.
I just want to back it up. I'm having a difficult time. You say that most narcissists are men.
75%. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know like a lot, but it's just that's just not, to me. It's just a high number.
Well, there's no. Well, yeah. The 1 to 15% of the population, because we don't know exactly. It could be 2%, 5%. It could be 14%.
Right.
But
Right.
through clinical estimations, people reporting or people being
Right. Right.
diagnosed
Right.
are about 75%. Now, maybe some of the women who are narcissists aren't coming forward. I don't know. That could be.
Well, most people that are narcissists don't believe they are.
Well, yeah. But
Or
narcissists,
their partner's not reporting it.
the part is not reported.
Right.
But narcissists also have some comorbidity with things like depression and anxiety as well. So they're likely to have that going on as well, along with the gaslighting and the manipulation and all of that. So it's not a. Let me say this: there's two kinds of personalities. There's a healthy personality,
Right.
and there's a rigid personality. A healthy personality is someone, hopefully like us, that can kind of roll with the punches.
Well, like you two, maybe.
you know, kind of flexible. You're working for a company. They say, "We don't want you working in this department today. We want to send you to that department." No problem.
Right.
I could fit in. I have no problem with that. Whereas the person with a personality disorder, like narcissistic personality disorder, their personality is very rigid. They're not changing for you.
Wow.
They're not compromising. They're not even trying to compromise. So it's a very rigid personality, and they don't bend.
Right.
They're not flexible. That's the
Now,
difference.
is there a clinical way to diagnose someone with narcissism? Because you would think that they would have to come to you first of all, think they're a narcissist. Is there a way to clinically find that out? And is there something that may be like narcissism that's not narcissism?
That's a
Like,
very good question, Ed Leo Pizzo. It's a very good question because I was going to speak about that. Yeah, sometimes they tend to, if they do come into therapy, it's the only way you can really diagnose them, right? They present almost as antisocial personality disorder. Most of the guys in the big house, right, they're antisocial
Right. Right.
personality, or they present as borderline personality disorder.
It
Because,
sounds like politicians.
well,
Most politicians
yeah,
are
Okay.
yeah,
narcissists. You
right.
would think.
Well, you have to have a little bit of narcissism
Allegedly.
is
Listen.
Yeah.
self-preservation,
Right.
Yep.
But antisocial personality disorder, which is not a good thing, and the jails and the prisons are filled with people that have that, and narcissistic personality disorder are very closely related. Very closely related. The only thing that separates them is the person who is the antisocial personality has also been diagnosed when he was younger or she was younger for conduct disorder,
Uh,
which is cruelty to
yep.
animals, bullying, uh, forcing sex upon
Hmm.
someone, all those types of things. Once they're diagnosed with that, then the next stage is antisocial personality disorder. Then you have borderline personality disorder, very similar, narcissistic, manipulation, stormy interpersonal relationships, uh, problems with the law, um, excessive fear of abandonment, all that kind of stuff. So these three personality disorders are all very similar. And sometimes a person who's narcissistic can also have antisocial qualities,
Right.
or someone doesn't qualify for a narcissistic diagnosis, but they have several features that do. So you could say this person has narcissistic features. You know, there's a lot of people walking around like that. A
No
lot,
kidding.
a lot, more than you think. And there's a lot of people stuck in relationships, like Darren was saying, stuck in relationships with guys or girls who are narcissistic. You're not going to win the battle. The best advice is get in your car, make sure you have a full tank of
Yeah.
gas,
Right.
start it up, and just drive.
But in your head, it's like you can't break that cycle. The person that it's being done to, is it? Oh, they fucked you up so much. It's like you don't even have the strength or will to leave. And if you do leave, I think in the back of your head, oh, what is this person gonna say? Like you're gonna throw dirt on me out in the streets,
That's exactly what they do. That's exactly
Right.
what
you
Yeah, they're
know?
so broken down that they actually come to believe that all the things that a narcissist is saying are true, and it's their fault.
The other person's fault.
Yep,
Right.
it's their fault, right? Not
Right.
the narcissist, and it's very difficult to get out of a relationship with a narcissist. The best thing, if you're going to stay in a relationship with a narcissist, define clear boundaries. Take time for yourself
Mm.
they do.
because they'll take every minute of every day from you.
There was something I heard, gray blocking or something. Did you ever hear of that
Say that
term?
again, please.
I think it's like gray blocking. It's um, if you're going to be with a narcissist, you don't want to get into in-depth conversations. You want to keep everything, how's the weather, stuff like that. It's not a real relationship, but it's a way to cut down on drama
A
or
lot of drama.
fights or anything like that. You just kind of generalize everything, and everything is fine. And
Yeah,
if you want to stay, similar to that.
unless you like drama, you're going to have a tough time. Anybody with a true personality disorder,
Right.
right, whether it's like we said, borderline, antisocial, narcissistic, oppositional,
Conduct.
the other personality disorder I'm trying to think of is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Anybody with a personality disorder, it's almost impossible to live with them. It's almost impossible. There's no treatment.
That
There's
was
no
my
treatment.
that was my question.
There's no treatment. Uh, Psychotropic medication aren't really proper for that. They don't really do anything. The narcissist in a therapeutic situation will tell you what you want to hear, especially if they're mandated for treatment. There's no treatment other than psychotherapy, which is talk therapy, but most of the time it's a waste of time.
They're just going to tell you what you want to
They're
hear.
going to tell you what you want to hear. I met the renowned uh, Dr. Albert Ellis. He invented rational emotive behavior therapy. He's written 100 books. He passed away at the age of 94 a few years ago. And I asked him, I said, what do I do when I get in a therapeutic situation, when I get someone with a personality disorder? He said, if they have a true personality disorder, that's the way he kind of spoke. I probably couldn't get through to him either, he said. So if he's telling me, he's like the main guy, right?
Right.
If he's telling me he can't get through to him, I certainly have tried and to no success. They're not going to change. They're just not.
In a way, it's kind of fucking sad, bro.
It is sad. It is sad. And most guys, say in the big house or serving long sentences, do have either features of antisocial or narcissistic personality
Mm.
disorder, where they have some kind of. But what really straightens them out, and they don't really straighten out, is over time they just get tired of doing it, tired of being that way, tired of manipulating, tired of being in the system, and so they kind of kind of
Mellow
regress
out.
a little bit, but they're still narcissistic or antisocial, whatever it might be. So it's tough. I mean, you got to feel sorry really for the person who's got it as well, because how does a person get, you know, what what are the reasons a person gets or it becomes a narcissistic person? There's two thoughts on that.
Hmm.
We really don't know. Two thoughts are, one is genetic.
Really?
They inherit it from parents. The other one is, and this is the one I tend to go with, the parents are either too overly critical
Yep.
or they're overly complimentary.
Right. Two different kinds of
Ah.
narcissism come from that, though,
So you got
right?
Right.
Two different
Exactly.
kinds. I don't know the two, but I've heard it before. If you're coddling a child too much, it could be an issue. If the parents are too harsh on or just not loving enough, they're always looking for that. You know, I
Absolutely.
remember something similar to that.
I had a case where I met the mother and I met the son who was maybe in his 20s, and she kept saying in the middle of the conversation, "Oh, you're just the greatest thing since sliced bread. The woman who gets you someday. Oh, she's just going to be a lucky girl. Oh, you're the best of the best. You're the." And this was going on and on
Right.
during the session. And afterwards, I said, "How's your son doing? Oh, he killed himself."
Really.
So it's like this overly complimentary, or you're the best. You're going to be the all-time best guy in the world. It's hard to live up to.
Yeah.
Right.
Expectations. She's saying he's up here. He's like, but I'm
He's
still
but he's
here.
down here.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know, he couldn't live up to those expectations of his mother. He killed himself. And the other, if you go the other way, constantly critical, constantly critical. They're kind of, they become that.
It's like abusive.
It's like abusive, and they become the abuser. And a lot of times, narcissistic people are the abuser.
So they're
Well,
pretty much
yeah.
acting the way they were acted upon.
Yeah, and once again, there's no clear cut reason why they're the way why they have narcissism, right? Other than the two reasons I just mentioned, but we really don't know, and we really don't know the exact number of narcissism. It's an estimation, 1 to 15%. We don't know, but it's growing. For example, I teach school. Uh, it's unbelievable. The kids come to class. Oh, I want an A. Well, look at your grades. Yeah, but I'm here all the time. Like, yeah, it's okay.
The entitlement.
Their entitlement. I
Yeah.
come all the time. I had a parent call me recently. Uh, I'd like to have a discussion with you why my son failed your class. But she's giving me all these reasons. My son's a very brilliant guy. He did well in all the other classes, and he brought home 2 exams, and they were both like 95. I said,
Right.
okay. She went on and on. I said, did he show you the other 4? What other 4? The other 4, 2 he got zeros. He didn't show up. The other 2 he got like 30. Oh, he didn't say that.
Well,
So there's narcissism everywhere. Now, you don't have to be a full-blown narcissist, but people feel entitled all over the place. Entitled to everything. Entitled to,
so it sounds like these are the people that become your mass murderers.
yeah, narcissism.
They lure you in.
Antisocial. Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, there's no one doing long-term sentences that don't have some kind of personality thing going on. No one. That don't have some kind of personality issue going on. I'm not saying they're narcissists. It's just a hard thing to break.
So if there's really no treatment
There is not.
and there's no way to cure them or fix them, you would assume that somebody out there, would they actually have been a real narcissist? They said, well, I got something going on here. I'm treating people like crap. Because there's got to be some type of emotion in there to be between a narcissist and like a complete psychopath or what. I forgot
Well, the biggest trait of a narcissist is a lack of empathy.
Right.
In other
So-
words, they'll slit your throat and go to work. You're like, oh,
Right.
I got to go to work. I had a case like that where the guy killed somebody, right? And he went to work, and the blood was still on his shirt. And when the cops went to his job to get him, you're under arrest for murder. And he says, I can't leave. I don't get out till 5. They said, that's not flying here.
Really?
Yeah. So, and the judge, threw the book at him because he said, if I had to do over again, I'd do the same thing.
Wait, that's what he said?
To the judge. Yeah. So he got a long-term sentence, and
goodness.
once again, killed somebody, had the blood on him, and just went to work. Didn't like it's part of the day, So,
So you have a lot more
narcissistic.
going on than just narcissism.
Yeah.
probably.
Narcissism, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression that you don't see in the person when you first meet them. You have to be around them for a while.
Yeah. Just gaslighting you the whole time.
Gaslighting you and so on, and they demand respect.
Pretty much planning out every move
That-
they make
every
Thank
move.
you.
to get inside of
So
you.
someone texted me a question, right? And it says, do you think a narcissist calculates and plans their manipulation.
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Wow.
It's all calculated. It's all planned. It's all part of
Yeah.
their They're
And
great
this is,
manipulators.
do you think they're realizing they're doing it? Yes.
They're realizing they're doing it, but they're entitled because you're a little person
Yeah.
and you're just there to serve their purposes. You see, all of us are just here to serve their purposes because we really mean nothing. You know, they're above all of us, and the only other people that can understand them are these people up here.
Elites.
Us, you know, we're the blanket of
Peons.
garbage. You know,
Right.
yeah, right. So yeah, it's. And once again, you may have met many narcissists, but they come across as really nice guys. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a nice guy, right? But you spend time with them and you get to see all the cracks in the armor.
Right.
Right. So it's not a pleasant thing. And you know, I feel sorry for the people who have the disorder and
I feel sorry for the people that are in those fucking relationships.
oh, they're stuck.
They're stuck. That's it. They're
Just
stuck.
and they're threatened. If you leave me, you know, you'll never find anybody else. Nobody wants you.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you're this, you're that. And no other guy's going to touch you. Blah blah blah. And you know, after you hear that 1,000 times, you come to believe it. Well, maybe I should just stay. Maybe we can work it out. Maybe things will change.
Right.
It's not going to change.
Nothing's ever gonna change. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Worse,
Ugh.
worse. And then they'll try to lock you in. Maybe have
Yeah.
kids with you. They'll try to lock you in.
Yeah.
And even treat you worse probably after that moment.
Countries becoming. They passed out a questionnaire to so many thousands of people in 1992 saying, do you think you're an important person? And something like 17% said yes. And they passed it out again in 1992. Do you think you're a very important person? 70% said yes. So
Going from 92 to what?
from 1992 was the last time.
Okay, that was last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said, do you think you're a very important person? It was like 70% said yes.
What if they did that survey today?
20 years later, 21 years later.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're
But
saying
thinking
it's
you're an
epidemic.
important person doesn't make you a narcissist.
No, it does not.
You know
But I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
But see the way the thinking is going.
Mm.
You go back so many years, and I'm just a regular guy.
Right.
You think you're a very important person? Not everyone say yes,
Yes.
because the parents are telling you you're the best. You're this, you're that. You're
Well, it all started
entitled.
off with trophies. Little League trophies.
Well,
That's
I
where it
think you
started.
hit it.
There you go.
where it
Everybody
started.
gets a
A
trophy.
trophy.
We don't get losers here. No
That's
one
how-
has
No,
to
right,
cry.
right.
It's all.
It's not the way life is.
When I first started hearing that,
It's not the way life is.
No.
I said, "This is gonna go
Sideways,
really
real
bad.
quick.
It's gonna
Absolutely.
go, and that's exactly what
I
happened.
deserve a
Because
trophy. I
that's
can't.
right where, like, you were in Little League and everybody started getting trophies. I don't know when that started. That probably started in like the mid '90s, no, early
Something like
'90s,
that,
mid
yeah.
'90s.
Probably mid 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a watered down society, bro.
Yeah.
Where like you're saying, everyone, it's a mediocrity society. Oh, 17th place, yeah, you get a trophy. 17th place don't mean shit. It'll
Right.
never mean shit.
No.
Listen, no
No.
one knows who lost the Super Bowl. They only know who won the Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
No one knows who came in second place. They only know who came in first place. So that makes there a winner and there makes there a loser. Is it a bad thing to be a loser? No.
No.
As long as you go back and you try it again, you know?
They conducted a study on the Olympics and so on, and they said, look, they interviewed people after they won their medals. The guy who won the gold medal, right, or the girl who won the gold medal, they were all happy about it. Who do you think felt the worst?
The second place.
Yes, the second place person.
The first
if
loser.
I only trained a little harder, if I only ate a little better,
Yeah.
and the third place guy and the fourth place guy, they're all very happy. I'm happy,
Yeah.
I'm on stage.
I'm on
Yeah,
the
right,
podium.
great. So it's like everybody wants to. Life is conditional. The way they're bringing up kids today, life is. Everything's good. You're the best. You deserve the best. Don't let anybody, take advantage of you. So on and so forth. Life is conditional.
That's why
It
there's
is.
40-year-old adults living still at home with their parents. You know?
Well, because everyone's being indoctrinated by the school system, your parents, fucking social media.
Oh, big.
Even your own fucking race, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's a victim.
Yes, right.
Okay.
I'm a victim.
Everyone's a victim.
Big time. Victim
The only thing
mentality.
about being a victim is overcoming that shit.
Right, exactly. Overcoming is great because is it a crime or a sin to be poor when you're a kid?
No.
No. It's a crime or a sin if you stay poor for the rest of your
Right,
life.
right.
Unless you get a disability, you can't
Right, that's
see,
different.
you can't hear.
Mhm.
Okay, I can understand that. But
Right.
So it's like everybody has a chance. You got to take your chance, do the best you can, and let the chips fall where they may. If you know you did the best, you're doing good. Narcissist doesn't think like that. I
See,
want top prize.
okay, all right.
I deserve top prize. Like that. So, unfortunately, we have a society now that it's getting bigger and bigger, and there's a lot of entitlement out there.
And my personal opinion, I think it started. I don't know if I can even say this word, but C19.
Can't even say that number.
No, well, you know where I'm going with that?
No,
Yeah.
who's who?
Oh, he's talking about
The
the
pandemic.
Oh, cool. I'm
Can't even
sorry.
say that word.
I was tuned up.
Ah, well, we'll
Oh,
probably
oh,
get a strike.
oh,
You
okay.
definitely get 2 strikes.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
only
yeah,
got one more to go.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. I mean,
Well, that I think that the crazy part about that is now you had people that were, you know, living together during that whole thing. Now they had to live with each other. So that
Oh,
probably
okay,
made
yeah.
that relationship way
Worse.
more volatile.
Right.
No one was leaving, no one was coming. They
oh
were
yeah,
they were neck and neck. That definitely brought on
oh
a
yeah.
lot of problems.
Especially if a person has narcissistic tendencies, they really come to the
Lay
forefront
in.
when you're with them all the time.
Right.
So it's like, it's not good. But yeah, so narcissism, any personality disorder, especially the other one is uh, borderline personality disorder. That's mostly women, right?
Borderline.
It's very
Yeah.
similar to narcissistic, but they have an excessive fear of abandonment. Oh, you're not going to leave me. Don't leave me. You're leaving me. I know you're going to leave me. They're very afraid of that. There's a lot of contact with the law enforcement, a lot of shoplifting.
What do you mean the law enforcement?
They just have a lot of law enforcement contact. They're likely to
Like what would be a common charge?
they'll call up, complain about their significant other, call the
Ah,
police.
okay. All right.
I had a young girl. She was like 9 years old. Every time the mother didn't give her away, she would call the police. The police come to the house. After a while, they get sick of doing it.
Yeah.
My mother's not feeding me. My mother's not doing this.
A 9-year-old.
A 9-year-old, and then she ended up poisoning the brother. But talking about, she fit the bill of a kid who was a narcissist.
You just slide that in.
She fit the bill of a kid who was a narcissist. And what's going on today? This is a little aside. The kids are pretty smart. Years ago, if there was something going on in the household, a neighbor reported it,
Right.
or one of the spouses or something. But now what's happening? If the kids aren't getting their way, they're calling the Department of DCF, Department of Children and Services.
Yes,
My mother's not giving me this. My father's doing this. They're calling and they're reporting their own parents.
I would think back in the days, if you said I'm gonna call the cops or I'm gonna call DCF, your parents would probably pick up the phone and crack you in the skull with it.
Yeah, well, that's another
Oh,
thing.
And then,
Right?
well,
and this is back in the days, so you never even questioned doing that again. Nowadays, everybody's got a phone, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
it just goes back to we're in a watered down society, and I got this generation here. They're gonna take care of us.
No.
We're doomed. Okay.
Yeah, because you, yeah, for example, me, I'm the first generation who the parents have lived longer, so we're taking care of our parents now, right?
Right.
This never happened before because, when you're 65, people said, okay, time to make my final arrangements here. There's not going to be much more time left. Now people are living to be 100.
Yeah.
It's not unusual. So it's like, what's happening? Well, we're taking care of them now. This never happened in the history of the world before.
You're right, John.
History of the whole world.
I had to take care of my mom.
Yeah, right. So my mother's 96. She lives with me. I mean, it's the history of the world. History of the world now.
But she's still driving, walking,
Yeah, she's doing good.
shopping.
Right.
She's
Yeah. So, but still, they're 96, 90, 97. Today's good, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
So the world has changed. Narcissism is on the rise. People are living longer. You're going to have narcissists living longer. That's not good.
That's not good.
No.
Do you think there's a way that we can slow this down or stop it from happening? Like society has to do something, like everybody has to come together, or is it getting to the point where it's so bad that we can even, arrest political parties?
Oh, you're talking about Fat Albert? That's a whole other topic, sure. But there's some narcissistic people, right? They're going to make a name for themselves. It's all about me. I don't care if this guy's innocent or guilty. It's all about me. I want to be on camera.
Right.
All that kind of stuff. But certainly there's people out there, politicians. Some politicians are narcissists. Some celebrities for sure.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can't really be a celebrity unless you're vain, unless you want attention.
Yep.
A private person who's more reserved could be a celebrity, but that doesn't want the attention, wants to be left alone, doesn't want any publicity, right? But there's narcissism. Don't forget the kids are watching all these narcissist celebrities, and they're emulating that. Madonna and so on.
Rappers. And,
Oh yeah, I mean the worst ones they could be emulating. That's where they're dressing like them, they're talking like them.
So there's a fine line between being a narcissist and being like an influencer or anything like that, or like
Yeah.
well,
What the hell is an influencer?
Yeah,
Can
what is
someone
an
explain that
influencer?
to me?
I think it's pretty much somebody who influences
Other
Right.
people.
a mass of people. So they have a lot
They
of
call them
followers. They
influencers.
influence
Yeah,
people.
Yeah, they're influencers. Yeah.
You know?
I've been seeing this online lately. This person is an influencer. What?
What?
Of what?
Well, you got to think they're influencing their whole
Well, that's
everybody that's watching them.
Everybody's looking up to her for a leader. Like, oh, I want to follow this.
But these are no one. These are nobodies.
Oh, there's somebody's when they have a million people watching them every day.
Yeah.
That's somebody.
Yeah.
Listen, if a million people are watching us right now and they looked at us, they looked up to us, and we said, by the way, there's a new challenge going on. You got to try this. I'm pretty sure half of them would start doing it. Look at the kids who started eating Tide Pods back in the days. They were eating, they were
detergent.
eating the detergent packets.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
They were.
It doesn't sound tasty.
And this was a challenge that was going on, wherever you would go, people would be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, what in your head thought to you that poison that washes your clothes could be ingested?
Right.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think social media has something to do with it. I don't know. The direction this country is going in right now is not good. Let's put it that way. But it's almost like you talk about kids. I was reading this article not too long ago, and someone was saying the kids today, they have no respect. They're lazy. They don't want to work. It's just a disaster. They're impolite. And then it said this was taken from ancient Greeks, like in 2000 BC.
Really?
Yeah. So have things ever changed? Or is the world always just the same, only in different circumstances?
I don't know, because growing up when I was growing up, which was different times than you guys, I'm a little bit younger, but if you disrespected somebody,
Oh, it's a wrap.
and your parents found out,
It's a wrap.
you were done.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Now, back when if I would get in trouble, I remember getting in trouble one time, and my father looked at me and he goes, "What did you do?" I'm like, "I didn't do anything."
Come on, fess up. What did you do?
I didn't do anything. But nowadays, the parents look over at the other person, not their child, and say,
Exactly.
Right.
"What did you do to my child?"
My son would never do that.
Yeah.
And
What
they were
made
best
you?
friends. Right.
Feeding into it.
Don't ever put your hands on my child.
Feeding into
Oh,
it.
big time. And you're right. I'm best friends with my daughter. She's 13. That's a bad
Yeah,
situation.
you're supposed to be a mother, not a best
Exactly.
friend.
You want to be best friends. They want everything's fair in this world. I get that in school. That's not fair. If you think everything is fair, you're going to be in big trouble when you get out in the world, man, because nothing's fair.
Life is not fair.
But they think that they're entitled with no experience to get hired by this company and be in charge.
So would you say that narcissists, a majority of the time, raise narcissists?
That's
Well,
a good
that goes
question.
back to genetics. then.
Yeah, that's a good question. That
Well,
might
not
go
even
back-
just genetics, but the way they treated them.
Yeah, that's a good question.
If you're overly loving, you get a problem sometimes.
That's a narcissist.
If you're overly abusive, you get a narcissism. Where do you meet in the
That's
middle?
an interesting question. Probably worth some studying for sure. But yeah, so many things have to be a perfect storm. So many things have to be right. The genetics have to be right. The context has to be right. The parent. There's got to be something with the parent. Constantly telling them these things. It's all a perfect storm, I think.
And I'm assuming you can have a narcissist father and maybe a not narcissist mother, or you can have both. That would be a storm that's.
Well,
that's
I
a
guarantee you
question.
that mom is being
you
abused.
you have an enabler, and then you have a narcissist. Well, that's a deadly combination too.
Right. There's someone asked a question: would a person with narcissistic personality disorder get along good with somebody with a borderline personality disorder? Say, well, They have a lot of the same features,
Right.
you know, so maybe they would.
Or they would bump heads.
Yeah, but there are some people who have the dual diagnosis of narcissism and borderline personality. I just don't know how you would deal with a person like that. I just don't know how you could. You know,
It's like every hour would be different.
yeah, and the person with the borderline personality disorder constantly changing. I won't say jobs, but careers. You know, today they're selling automobiles. Tomorrow they're working in a factory. The next day they're making flower arrangements. Are constantly changing like that. Abandonment issues.
Could somebody
You
with
know,
borderline personality have a one full-time job for their whole life?
oh,
Most
no,
likely
no,
not, but it's probably could
no,
be possible.
no, no, no. So there's, yeah,
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
law enforcement, kind of a lot of shoplifting.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, but it's just. I wish I could give the public better hope. Like if they have someone in their lives, if you have someone in your life who has a personality disorder, especially narcissism, I don't know what can be done, if anything. If you're in a relationship with someone with a narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder or whatever we're talking about here, antisocial, the best thing to do really would probably be try to leave because it's not going to be a good outcome because there's not good outcomes here. Remember, a person with antisocial personality disorders is also being diagnosed with conduct disorder. That's being cruel to animals, you know, burning cats,
Oh.
you know, shooting dogs, physical fights, bullying.
Do you think that's because inside they're actually scared, they're actually alone? Like, what is that reaction to start that fight? What are they getting out of it? What are they fulfilling?
Well, look at Jeffrey Dahmer and all these serial killers. Most of them, not all, have a history of cruelty to animals.
Yes.
History of cruelty to animals.
Whose father fed into that? Unknowingly.
Talking about Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, bullying. Listen, when I was a kid, I got bullied. Everybody
We all did.
was a bullier or
Right.
a bully. It's just a fact. It's a way to get. It's a way of life, and you have to get through it.
Right.
Nowadays, you know, you guys would know what's going on with bullying. Oh, if you say something off color, oh, he's trying to bully me. She's trying to bully me, and the kid's going to get suspended from school. And I can remember a kid waiting for me after school. You know, I'm going to beat you up today. I got to deal with that now. You know, it's like, and you deal with it, and you just deal with it. You just deal with it, and you move on, right? So it's not happening today. You know,
No.
So let's just say you know a narcissist.
Right.
You never want to approach them and say you have a problem.
No, because they can't take any kind of criticism. They'll react very badly. They can't. They're not subject to criticism because they're above you. They're not going to take criticism from you or I
Right.
because they're better than us. You know. So what are you talking about me? You should look at yourself. They would gaslight you. You know, look at you. You know, something like that. It's not a pleasant thing. I mean, I'm sorry we're not talking about something that's more upbeat and lively, but this stuff is
But this
serious,
needs to be put out because
because a lot of people watching could be in relationships with narcissistic people or borderline people or whatever it might be. And guys, it's not your fault. I mean, they're going to try to bring you down. They're going to suck the energy right out of you. And if you let them, they'll take every minute of every second of every day from you. See?
I'm glad you said that too, Jim. It's not their fault.
No, it's not.
They need to break that in their head.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, because the manipulator, right, will convince them after a while that, you know, you're a piece of garbage, you know, and so on and so forth. Nobody else wants you, and you got this job that's really a hobby, you know. You should be ashamed of yourself for working, you know, and all that kind of stuff, you know. You know, you're overweight, but you know, you lost a few pounds, you look a little better. Things like that. Backhanded compliments. They're designed to sort of tear you down. You want to be with somebody who's going to build you up, not tear you down.
Right. But I'm laughing not because of whatever, but the shit I see it. You know, and you can see that woman who's being abused out in public. You know she's being abused by this bastard.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's, I guess I'm not to get too deep into my own family shit, but you know, like you just know.
And it goes both ways. There's some women. I've met a few women with narcissistic tendencies, and you know they're not any better.
No.
You know, they got these husbands who they got. You could see the look in their eyes. They're just beaten down. You know, and it's just It's just unfortunate, man. It's something that you got to be able to break away from. You have to set time for yourself. You have to set boundaries and make time for yourself. And the best thing to do to make time for yourself, Darren Copeland, is what? Come down here and work out, right? That'll start you off. Run, work out, play tennis, play golf. Spend some time on your own. Plan time for yourself, because otherwise they'll take every minute from you, and you'll be unhappy.
But it's hard too because the narcissist, where he going?
Very jealous,
Yeah.
right? I don't want you down there. It's filled with guys.
Right.
They're all looking at you, something like that, right? So yeah, but you got to spend time, plan time for yourself. You have to, and you have to set boundaries. Without the boundaries,
You're done.
Yeah, you're done without the boundaries.
Yeah. It's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, it's a race to the bottom. Exactly right. Matt Vaccaro used to say it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
Right, and yeah.
There's like certain things you can say to interact with narcissists too.
You brought them up, lighthearted things.
Yeah, like I'm sorry you feel that way. That probably, well, like certain things like that.
You can't live
Like
with
it's not you, kind of like saying like you're telling them they're right, kind of thing. Just to kind of
you gotta
lighten it,
lighten-
because
yeah.
so you don't get into
You don't wanna
confrontation with them,
No. And it's hard because we can't interview anybody. I mean, what are we going to say to the viewers? Viewers, this is John Smith.
He's a narcissist.
He's an admitted narcissist.
He's gonna
he's gonna
obviously if he's admitting it, he's probably not.
Right.
So
that's not going to be done. So the only things we have are secondhand information, or
Right.
firsthand information from the things that Darren's seen, or
Yeah.
Eddie's seen, or I've seen. Right. So you're not going to be able to interview like you could interview Mike Tyson sitting here, right? It's not going to happen. So we can just give the information that's out there, and I'm giving some of my own anecdotal stories and so on and so forth. But yeah, so they're always going to hit you with your opinion doesn't count, you're stupid, all that kind of stuff. No one wants you.
when
Without me,
something's
you're
like
nothing.
when something's like that said to you, if you come back and say no, I'm not, they're gonna feed that.
Without you, I'm
You
nothing.
got-
Without me, you're
You
nothing.
gotta say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, or I hear what you're saying,
Right.
like things that
Right.
so it doesn't escalate anymore.
Right. I mean, it's going
And
to it's
there's
going
got to be a way to find a back door and hightail out of there because a narcissist won't leave you until they're ready.
Oh yeah, you're just there for their
And
entertainment.
The crazy part about narcissists is once they start biting into you,
Yeah.
if you leave them, then they think to themselves, maybe I really do like that person, and they will come after you. So the only
Yeah,
way,
they'll apologize.
yes, they will
And
say
when-
everything that they can,
And if the person
get
comes
you
back,
back,
it starts all over.
and then boom, it happens again. So
Okay, yeah.
the only way to leave one is for one to leave you.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like you guys have heard of, everybody knows about the bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
There was a time where people used to come to my office. Hi, I'm bipolar. Like that was their name, right? I'm bipolar. If a person really does have bipolar 1 disorder or any of these personality disorders we're talking about, it's extremely hard to live with them. I don't care if they're on medications or not. There's no medications for personality disorders,
Right.
but for bipolar disorder, it's extremely hard to live with them. It just is.
The one word that will set any narcissist off. No.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah,
No.
no.
Say no.
No, don't use that word.
Say no.
Don't use that word because they believe that they're entitled. So it's already yes. And the funny part about their entitlement is they want this admiration that's unearned.
There you go. Right, unearned. Which goes back to society today.
You show up, you get a trophy.
Right.
You come to class, you get an A. That's
Right.
That's the way it works, man. That's not the way.
I don't know. I just can't believe college is like this now.
Big time. Big time.
I showed up, and
I wanted an A. Like, well, how come I only got a B? Like,
But are there teachers out there that are passing them? Because I remember even when I was growing up, I remember seeing kids that were always in trouble.
Yeah.
Those kids would get out, they'd be outside, they would be able to take an hour outside. They'd say, oh, have them go outside, they'll sweep up, they'll rake the leaves or whatever. Meanwhile, you're sitting in class going, how's that dude passing over there when he's outside for 2 or 3 hours here and there? Like they're pushing them through.
Oh yeah.
Because they don't want them in their class anymore because of the disruptions.
Right.
So they're just trying to get them through, and then boom, we'll let that school deal with them when they go over to their
That does happen.
or the real world.
Yeah.
So I think they're just pushing kids through.
Oh, that's true.
Do they still have? that no left behind thing somewhere? I remember
No,
hearing
but
No,
no
no,
child left
no
behind.
behind.
Is
yeah,
that a thing, or do kids really?
it's not really a thing. The way they do it is like, well, this guy's been around for a while. You know, we got to get him out of here. You know, he's been. In other words, they don't tell you in your how to run your classroom what they might suggest you. You know, this. What can you do for this guy? You know, he's been around for a while. We got to get rid of him. You know. So if the student just hangs around long enough, they probably will graduate or pass. But yeah. But the problem really is the parents. That's
There
really
you go.
the problem. Really is the parents.
Well,
You know? Like you guys put it. I think Darren said, "Now my child wouldn't do that."
mm.
Well, we have him here on video. Well, it must be some mistake. My child wouldn't do that.
No,
He's
there's
a perfect.
video evidence right here. No,
I don't know.
no.
Let me look at that. So it's. I don't know where to go with the whole thing today. It's very difficult. Well, helicopter parents, you've heard of that, you know.
No, wait, what's that?
They're hovering,
Yeah,
hovering
they're
over the
always
kids all the
watching
time.
everything they do.
You know, now
Videos
we
of
have
them.
Angelo here, who's a soccer referee and all that kind of. The parents want to beat up the referees if you make a call against their kid, especially in high school. I'm not so much with Angelo, but he was telling me, you know, you make a call in soccer or baseball, the parents come out of the stands. They want to fight with the
Yep.
umpires. This never happened in the
No.
history of the country.
What?
They want to fight. So
You're fighting the official.
they want to fight with the officials if it's a bad call on their son. You know,
Well, they perceive it's a bad call.
exactly right. You know,
Right.
referee calls a foul in the basketball game. They come out of the stand. You know, they use profane language. What is it showing with the kids, right? So it's a tough world out there. I wouldn't want to be an adolescent today because it's a very,
No.
with the social media and all this
No.
stuff going on.
So if we had to sum up like this whole thing, like the characteristics, we go back to that, the characteristics of a narcissist, like go through some of that and we'll wrap it up as we'll just kind of give them a what just happened kind of thing, like some characteristics, certain things.
Arrogant,
Arrogance,
conceited,
conceited.
need for attention, lack of empathy, intolerance of criticism, um,
They're talking about themselves all the time.
vanity.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's all about me. You guys exist for my pleasure. I use and abuse you and throw you away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't want to be like give people a pessimistic view of everything we talk about, but
There's nothing positive about
there's
being a
nothing positive
narcissist.
about a grandiose self view. I'm better than everyone else. And, yeah.
So
So
if you meet somebody like that, if you meet somebody that's all lovey-dovey in the beginning and they start digging their claws into you, then all of a sudden they start becoming more arrogant, manipulating your
Yeah.
feelings. You notice the rejection is like a big no-no with them. They need that.
they don't take it
They-
well.
just certain things like that. You want to
Yeah.
stay
Stay
far
clear.
away from a person like that.
Yeah. So listen. We just touched the surface today, really.
Yeah, no.
So I appreciate you guys asking me to come. So Darren Copeland, Ed Copeland,
I'll be
Darren
at-
Copeland, Ed Leo Pizzo.
Should be brother
Well,
from
I
a different
figured
mother.
you guys were
Yeah,
brothers from
yeah.
another mothers.
Yes.
But anyways, thank you for having me on today.
We
and
appreciate you. Thank you.
appreciate this opportunity, and maybe we reach some people today. I hope so.
Hopes, yeah.
I'm not sure if it went live on YouTube. Next week. We'll be pretty much all set up.
Yeah.
So my brother's come back from vacation, and he said he'll take care of a bunch of stuff.
Good.
for us.
And please, people, subscribe to the channel.
Check us on YouTube,
Um,
The
That's
Real Iron Mindset.